Well, I'm here just to give you an operational overview of what's going on in the fire department, how we operate over there, and what we've been doing. So, I got a lot of slides in here, but I'm gonna try to go pretty quick, okay? I don't wanna take up all night with y'all. So, we're known as Company 2 throughout Allegheny County, Clifton Forge Fire Department, and we are Company 2. Our mission is to have a positive impact in the lives of the citizens and visitors of Clifton Forge in their time of crisis by providing compassionate, contemporary, community-driven service, safeguard human life from perils of fire, sudden illness, injury, or other medical conditions, natural and man-made disasters, as well as preserve the environment and property from ensuing destruction, be responsible for a safe, productive, and pleasant work environment for our employees and our volunteers, to provide them opportunities to gain new skills and advance their personal career goals. Whoops. Make sure I didn't go too far. We started, this is on the first responder program. Clifton Forge Fire Department provides basic life support for first responders. The program started in January 2016. The town of Clifton Forge started a first responder program within the town limits to assist with early patient care for those in need of medical or trauma emergency services prior to the EMS transport unit's arrival. This program was a result of a decline in volunteer EMS services since program inception. The working relationship has greatly improved. The pre-hospital care has greatly improved. Once on the scene, the first responder assesses medical and trauma patients and renders care based on EMS regulations and protocols. And to give you a breakdown of that, it's anything from just obtaining their vitals to treating gunshot wounds, whatever needs to be done. Our performance objective is to initiate BLS within 10 minutes, 90% of the time. Our actual average response time in 2019 is 5.1 minutes. That is not from dispatch to the time we're at the patient is 5-minute response time. We want to interrupt the progression of fires and structures within 10 minutes, 90% of the time. Actual average response time in 2019 is 4.9 minutes. Maintain emergency response readiness above 80% of the time. This is met using above numbers. Provide safety and survival skills for vulnerable citizens. We want to provide educational opportunities for department members and ensure fire safety through timely, consistent code enforcement. Our coverage area, our first due area, includes locations within the town limits and extends to the following: Route 606, top of the mountain to Ingalls Field. We go to Cliftondale Park, to the I-64 interchange, and 220 south to the town limits of Iron Gate through the gorge and the gap. On structure fires, a mutual aid agreement includes county department areas of Iron Gate, Selma, and Sharon. This mutual aid agreement covers all of eastern Allegheny County, including portions of both Bath and Botetourt counties, as neighboring departments have these areas as their first due. And I do want to stop here just for a minute and explain to council and the public here. We started roughly a year ago and we've seen a need in our area with the decline of volunteers on large fires, what we consider structure related calls, anything structure fire. We have Selma, Sharon, and Iron Gate. We're all in a close proximity. So instead of dispatchers dispatching each individual department on the initial set of tones, we just set up an agreement that all 4 departments is coming. It's the same here, it's the same in Iron Gate, it's the same in Sharon, Selma, anywhere. So when you see those departments coming to us, that's what they're there for. We set it up for manpower. We've got volunteers. We've limited on the paid staff, but on the volunteer side, our volunteers, some of them's getting aged, and we have a mix of young ones too, but we have a need that we need all the departments to cover that. It's not that one department is better than the other, vice versa, any of that. It's just a need that we all worked together and all came to agreement that we needed to do that. I don't know if you all can see this. I tried to adjust it a little better. I don't know. But this is our incidents by summary that we break, that's reported to NFIRS, the National Fire and Incident Reporting. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. But if you can look in 2016, when we started the first responder program, the Clifton Forge Fire Department had a total of 917 incidents that we ran that year. That was an increase from about 250 a year to that once we added the EMS in there. We had a total fire dollar loss that year of $146,375. In 2017, we ran a total of 805 calls in 2017, with a total dollar loss of $96,040 in the town limits. 2018, our call volume dropped a little bit more. We was down to 788 with $145,275 total fire loss that year. In 2019, we were back up to 951 incidents that we ran with a total dollar loss of $129,000. Our firefighters, our career staff is myself, Robert Boyd, I'm the fire superintendent, fire marshal, fire instructor 2, EMT. We have Robert Connor, who is a firefighter 2 and EMT. And Dustin Wilhelm, he used to work for the town and he left and went to the paper mill. Well, we had an opening that came back up and he decided that he really didn't like the paper mill, so he applied and we hired him back. He'll be starting back at the fire department in about another week. We have 34 volunteers that range from trainees to 4 fire instructors. We have 3 volunteer EMTs. All of your paid staff, part-time people and your paid staff, all of them are at least at the EMT level. We have volunteers serving from new membership to 60 years of service in the department. Well, that slide's not loaded up there, but if you can look, you got your volunteer chief, then you'd have 2 assistant chiefs underneath there. The next one is the captains, and the 2 bottom ones is your lieutenants. Your volunteer fire chief is Jeremy Nicely. First assistant chief will be Vernon Hazlett. Your second assistant chief would be Mark Unruh. Captain Mark Nicely. I couldn't get my head to work. Mark Nicely, and then we have Casey Hughes as a lieutenant and John Zeke as a lieutenant. We started a smoke detector program back in 2017 with the Red Cross to provide free smoke detectors, where we would go out and install the smoke detectors, give a fire safety plan, give them a diagram and stuff of how to get layout, escape routes and stuff in the house. Since the inception of that in 2017, we've installed about 250 smoke detectors throughout the town. For community outreach, we've got fire prevention. We do school events with other neighboring departments. We'll send them out. We do in-house tours, community training, fire safety plans. That goes with detector inspection, installation, and fire escape education. This is the requirements to be a basic firefighter. Give you a breakdown of some of the hours. Firefighter 1 is 160 hours. Hazmat is 40 hours. That's just the basics. That's enough to get you started. EVOC is, firefighter 2 is an additional 57 hours. Your EVOC is 16 hours, and EMT is 150 hours. So just to get basic firefighters started, they've got about 423 total hours of training that they've got to go through. That's not counting any HTR, your rescue, advanced life support, any of your technical rescue, anything like that, other training that we go through. This is engine 25. It's a 92 Grumman pumper. It's got 1,500 gallon per minute pump, 750 gallon tank of water. It's a primary engine. Various equipment from structure. It's a licensed EMS response vehicle. This truck will go out of service in August of this year. We've got, this truck will be delivered to us August of this year is the delivery date. It is a 2020, it's an engine 2, it's a E1 Typhoon Rescue custom pumper. It's 1,250 gallon per minute pump, 780 gallons of water. It's going to be a licensed EMS response unit. This truck, the sticker price on it that we got was right at $455,000. That was funded pretty much by the Allegheny County Fire and Rescue Association. The town, we was responsible for I think about $4,000 or $5,000 of that. And then we'd like to take time to thank council, because when we ordered this truck, we had to cut all of the equipment and stuff off of it, and council provided the money in this past budget year so that we could put that equipment back on it. That was a cost of about $38,000. Our other engine that's over there is a 2000 Ferrara pumper, 1,250 gallon per minute pump, 1,000 gallons of water on it. It's used primarily for county calls, motor vehicle accidents, brush fires, and it's a licensed EMS response vehicle as well. Ladder 2, sure all y'all seen this. It's the big one that everybody talks about over there. But it's a 2002 Pierce ladder truck. It's a 105-foot ladder, assorted ground ladders. It's got a 1,250 gallon per minute pump, 300 gallons of water. Primarily used for vertical operations. Assorted rescue equipment. It's got extrication equipment and stuff on it too that we use for vehicle wrecks around town here. It's one of two in Allegheny County. The purchase was made possible through an agreement between the town of Clifton Forge and Allegheny County. Purchase price was $450,000. This was a used truck in like new condition when we got it. It's still in like new condition. It's been very well taken care of. But to purchase this truck today would be a cost of about $1.3 million. That's how much one would cost to buy new. 21 is a 2008 Ford E450 equipment truck. Carries all sort associated equipment for rescue and fire response. Portable pumps, lighting, generators, air packs, and spare SCBA cylinders. This truck, the volunteers over there, Mark Unruh and myself, we was able to purchase the truck, and then we built everything that's inside of that. We built that truck ourselves over at the firehouse, so saved a bunch of money. A equipment truck like that's about $170,000. Then we have the Dodge pickup truck. It's a support vehicle. It's licensed EMS response vehicle as well. And then the car we use for administrative support. We send people to training in it, and then personal transport. Give you an idea of our gear, our personal protective gear. Cost to outfit a firefighter head to toe is about $3,500 a person. About 2 or 3 years back, NFPA and all of the lobbyists came up with this great idea that the life of the turnout gear is only 10 years now. The 10-year rule makes keeping firefighters in up-to-date gear challenging. What that means is that if that turnout gear hits that 10-year mark, it's disposable now. It's no longer good. We've got to dispose of it and replace it. And currently the department has a need for 10 additional sets of gear. Me and Jeremy, we just put together a grant that we put in through AFG Assistance to Firefighter Grant for 15 sets of turnout gear. The self-contained breathing apparatus, the cost of one of those is $4,800 just for the SCBA. For the cylinder, it's going to be another $1,000. It's about $5,800 an air pack. We've been working diligently over the last 4 or 5 years, and with funding and stuff that was provided in fire programs, we've replaced all 16 of our SCBA's have been replaced to the 2016 standard. So we're good there. We've got some that'll go out, but they're all should be around at least 10 years left before we're going to need any more air packs. Give you a breakdown of our outside funding sources for the department. The county contribution to the fire department in our town is $65,000 a year. We get $14,000 a year through fire programs, which is money from the insurance. I'm not exactly sure where the insurance thing goes in, but it comes from insurance, I can tell you that. The 4 for Life money is $2,500. That is money that has to be spent on nothing but EMS supplies, just like the fire programs money that you see up there, that 14. The only thing that we can use that for is actual firefighting equipment and stuff, that type of stuff. Then it says we stand ready, which we're always ready at any time over there. Now, let me show you, I got a video. Let me see, how do I stop that a minute? Here we go. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can back it up.
Safe question starts.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do it. Oh, almost back. What did I do? Now we wait. I need to go back one.
Okay.
There we go. This is a couple weeks, how long ago? I think it's been a week and a half, about 2 weeks. This is a fire that was on Brussels Street. I know you can't see it real well, but if you can pay attention to the right of that screen, you'll see that blurred, looks like a window right there. This video was taken just prior to this, the one that's got the helmet cam that's on here. Our volunteer chief arrived on the scene and he pulled a mom and about a 1.5, 2-year-old kid out of that bathroom window that was trapped in this house. So I'm gonna play this and give you all an idea. You can watch, and if you want to hit those lights down another one, Leanne, they can probably see it a little better. This gives you a good perspective of what we do. I'm sorry.
Was the cause of that fire ever known?
Yes, ma'am. This cause of this fire was from the juvenile that had placed a toy in the microwave that the mom was unaware of.
I think the important thing about a lot of the town, the older parts of the town, is that our houses are so close together that it's an issue not only of fighting the fire in the structure, but making sure that that fire doesn't spread to adjacent structures.
Just wanted to give you a perspective of what it's like, what the conditions are, what we face when we go in, and this is firsthand on this one on Brussels Street, and then I think it was just 2 days later, about 2 days later.
This was on a Wednesday, the other one was on Sunday evening.
All right, that's right. This is the one that's on C Street. And I can answer this, what this was is a gentleman was heating with propane heaters that put a blanket too close to the propane heater and fell asleep and caught the blanket on fire.
The first house can be repaired. This second one was totally
This second one right here is going to be a teetotal loss. I mean, the fire was fueled by propane inside of the house. We had a lot of trouble getting this fire out, and if I had time I'd sit and explain to you what it was doing, but the propane was keeping the fire going. And really with the balloon type construction, once it got going in this house, it just ran from the first floor, up the walls, stairwells, plumb into the attic space. The house had been built onto and had cooling spaces that we couldn't get to the fire without tiring everything out first to get there. But as Darlene said, town manager said, is one of our biggest concerns in the town is the houses being so close together. That's another reason that we decided that we needed more than just the Clifton Forge Fire Department to respond. We would all work as a whole group on anything structure related. So.
Probably, I think we can probably cut that
I'm getting
off.
ready
It's
to
getting
cut
hot in here, isn't it? What's that?
it. But anyway, y'all have any questions or anything for me? I mean, that's it. That
I'd
wraps it
like to
up.
comment, I really appreciate our fire department and the other fire units in the area for all they do. I know this town, we have a lot of ancient structures, a lot of structures that are, to me, they look like tender boxes, and I don't think we can overspend on our fire department.
Well,
It's necessary.
this C Street fire that we was talking about too, one of the other challenges that we found in there was, this was a hoarder type house. So, but thank you.
What time was that fire run?
That was after right after midnight.
Yeah, it was
Because
very close.
I went up there the next day to do a picture for the newspaper, and it's still here. Wow.
It did restart.
It did, we did have a rekindle early that morning, about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Just after 5 on the front porch. It was in a void area that
Yeah.
rekindled, and they went back and,
That's when I was there about 4 and I could hear it. Wow.
yeah. So they went back and we extinguished that rekindle about a little after 5 that morning.
But we certainly do appreciate all that you do. Now, all these firefighters stuff here.
Yes, ma'am,
You
this
got
is
to
it.
stand up, sir.
And I think the council's aware, but the public may not be aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, because Covington has made some changes recently, but we have the only paid around-the-clock professional firefighting staff that are clearly supplemented. We couldn't do it without the volunteers that are a part of the complement, but that ensures by having someone on duty 24/7 that we can immediately respond, get a piece of equipment to the scene, even as the volunteers are coming from all different directions, depending on what time of the day it is and what they're engaged in. And so that does allow us to hopefully respond in a more quick fashion and get the fire under control as quickly as possible.
And it also gives you a discount on your insurance.
It sure does.
On
Your
on
ISO.
your
Your
homeowner's
ISO.
fire.
Our ISO rating is class 3. I have an inspection scheduled in May of this year where they'll come in and reevaluate us. We hope not any of our fault, but I don't know that we'll be able to get below a 3 just because of all of the requirements. It involves dispatch and stuff, but we're working hard to get down below from a 3. We are, I think, the only one in Allegheny County that's at a class 3. We went from a class 5 a few years back to we're at a class 3 now. So what that's direct savings into every one of your all's pockets because it saves on your insurance, your fire insurance and stuff like that.
How do you get that reduced rate? Do you tell your insurance company?
Record, yeah, well, your insurance, once they look, they'll pull your area up. They'll look at that ISO rating and the classification for the fire department, and they base your fire insurance off of that rating.
But it doesn't hurt to remind them.
No, absolutely.
Because, you know, if it's been something for a long time, they may not bother to look. So I would just say everybody should
Yes.
make sure that that is taken into account.
More questions? Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.